Hello and welcome to Secrets Mystery Manor. I'm your host, Psychic Zelda Kelly. Warning: this podcast may contain sensitive material. It is intended for mature audiences only. Viewer and listening discretion is advised. Hello, and welcome. Thank you for coming back to see us here at Secrets Mystery Manor. It's a gloomy, stormy night here. Oh, we're going to set the center stage very well for this story because we've got murder, mystery, and, well, lots of questions that I have in this story, and I think that you will too. But let's get to it, okay? We're going to talk today about the Witch of Banat, or the Witch of Vladimirovac, whose name is actually Anna di Pistonia, and is best known for her name as Baba Anujka. Well, Baba Anujka was from the village of Vladimirovac, and that is in Yugoslavia, which is now modern Serbia. This woman poisoned, at the very minimum, 50 people, and they're saying that actually it was close to 150. This took place in the late 19th and early 20th century, and this woman, well, she lived a very, I'm going to say private, but very colorful life. Baba Anujka, in her earlier life, in her younger days, grew up in Romania. She was born in 1838, although she said she was actually born in 1836. And she was born to a rich cattleman who moved to Vladimirovac in the Banat military frontier province of the Austrian Empire. And this was around 1849. And now you can hear Shaggy chiming in. Isn't it funny, though? Everyone is quiet as a church mouse until Mommy Zelda gets on the recorder and we want to talk about just stuff. There they are. They can chime in. I guess it wouldn't be an episode without them, right? Okay, so here we go. So anyway, so they lived, or they moved to the province of the Austrian Empire around 1849. From there, she actually attended a private school. She was very intelligent. She actually spoke and wrote 5 separate languages. That's interesting. She later on lived in her father's house, and at the age of 20, she got involved with a young Austrian military officer. And not only did he give her his heart, he gave her also a disease. Okay, I'll let your imagination fill in the blank. And he left her at the age of 20. And that messed her up. She decided that she was going to have a life of seclusion. And then she started getting into medicine and chemistry. And from there, she married a very wealthy landowner by the name of Di Pistonia, with whom she had 11 children. 11 children. Hello? She was busy while she was studying medicine and chemistry. Now, the interesting part is only one lived and survived to adulthood. And I say interestingly because as we get through this story, I wonder why only one survived. I don't know. Anyway, her husband was very much older than she was and died after 20 years of marriage. So after his death, she continued to pursue her chemistry studies and her quest into medicine. After his death, Baba Anushka made a laboratory in the wings of one of their house. Now, when you say wing, I guess they have money. You don't say, well, there's an extra bedroom back there. I'm just going to open up a lab. No, this was a wing of this house. Now, she had the reputation of a healer and herbalist in the late 19th century. And she was very popular in the area with the farmers' wives, and they all came to her for health problems, and she actually earned a respectable income, which enabled her to live extremely well in a luxury lifestyle. She produced medicines and actually gave mixtures to soldiers to keep them ill so they could escape military service. Wow. So now things are taking a little turn, aren't they? So, she also sold poisonous mixtures that she branded as a magic water or a love potion. Now, she sold mostly this magic water to women that were abused by their husbands. And she would give them the concoction, and then usually they would die within 8 days later. The one thing that was not known at that particular time, and Baba Anushka didn't tell the wives of these victims, I'm going to say, is that the love potions and the magic waters contained very small amounts of arsenic and certain plant toxins, and they were very difficult to detect at that time. So when she was told that there was a marriage problem or a marital issue, Baba Anushka would ask her client, and this is quote, "How heavy is the problem?" Which actually meant, how much does your husband weigh? Or how big or small is your husband? Because she was actually measuring the body mass of these victims so she could chemically produce a poison that would take care of the problem. She calculated the dose that was needed. So Baba Anushka's victims were usually, well, they were fit, young, healthy men. And that was the start. That was the beginning of this lifestyle from when she was about 30 years old on. Now, the one interesting thing in the 1920s, she actually had her own sales agent. Here we go, agent. And this woman's name was Lubinya Milankov. And she had a job to find clients and take them to Baba Anushka's house. And Baba Anushka would make them a magic water. And the price of this, now get this, is between 2,000 and 10,000 Serbian dinars. Now, back then, the exchange rate was for every dinar, $1 was equal to $1 to $1, so it took 56.4 dinars to make $1. So I'll let you do the math there. She was bringing in a pretty good chunk of change. Back then, in the 1920s, that was pretty good money. So she sold this magic water to Stana Mamarov in January of 1924 for 2,300 dinars. Now, she was a previous client, and Baba Anushka actually gave her herbal medicines on other occasions to take care of other ailments that she had, and so on and so forth. And so Stana gave this mixture to her husband, and he actually fell ill very, very shortly after, and he died a few days later. So shortly after this, Stana married another man from the same village who was actually the rich uncle of her second husband, who died under the same similar circumstances within a few months. Now, okay, the police questioned Stanya, and then she incriminated Baba Anushka. So then, coming forward, Baba Anushka sold her magic love potion water, her laced water, in December of 1926 to Sima Mamarov and his wife, Sophia, who intended to kill Simon's 70-year-old father. So Sima Mamarov and his wife Sophia got this magic water to kill Sima's 70-year-old father, Niccolo Mamarov. Their motive involved a family quarrel, and you know what happens in family quarrels. There's always money involved, and that's what it was. Now, Sima's claim was that Nicola was very abusive, and he was an alcoholic, and he was very harsh with his children and grandchildren. And the wife, Sophia, heard about Baba Anushka from other women, and especially one woman whose name I cannot pronounce, but just take my word for it. And they contacted Baba Anushka, who sold them the magic water for 5,000 dinars. Sophia gave it to the 16-year-old granddaughter and ordered her to give this to Nicola, the grandfather, who was 70 years old, and he drank it. Nicola drank the potion, and he actually died 15 days later. So now Baba Anushka is starting to get, she's starting to get a little famous in this village. And then the women are starting to take advantage of going to her and asking her for these potions. This is getting pretty dark, because I guess one or two times you might get away with it, but when you get up to the 50 mark and then to 150 mark, well, you're going to start raising an eyebrow. All right. So Baba Anushka was actually accused and arrested of this thing of making magic waters in June of 1914. But she was acquitted because they could not find any evidence. And before we get into some interesting parts, we're going to take this break and have a beautiful special word from our sponsor, Psychic Secrets, and we'll be right back. Stay tuned. The rest is yet to come. Hi everyone, this is your friend Zelda Kelly, and I would like to take a minute to invite you to stop over to Psychic Secrets. That's www.psychicsecrets.com. There you can find an advisor that can help you with advice, direction, and guidance that you need. And also you can read our blog, which has a lot of really, really good little articles and information and can actually answer some questions for you. You can find us here on this same site, this Secrets Mystery Manor. We are there. So you're there already if you found us. But we also have another section, which is the Secrets Laws of Attraction. We have some wonderful videos up, and we would love to have you stop by and take a look at that. Now, I want you to know that Secrets really is here for helping the person. We have qualified, experienced advisors on call 24/7. We have the ability to chat. We have the ability to take a call, and actually even a video call if you feel so inclined. So stop on by to psychicsecrets.com. That's www.psychicsecrets, that's two S's in the middle now, psychicsecrets.com, and take advantage of our first-time offer. For those of you who have never called before, first-time customer, we have an offering of 30 minutes for $30. You know, we can get a lot accomplished in 30 minutes. I'm so glad that you stopped by today to listen to Secrets Mystery Manor. And I hope you take the invitation to come on over and check out our advisors. We're here for you. So thank you so much. And hopefully I'll see you soon and you'll see me on there. I'm extension 11. So back to our podcast. Bye for now. So all these people, Stana, Sophia and Simon Mamarov, Lubinya, Milankov, all these people that I cannot pronounce their names, bless their hearts, but they were arrested as well, and they were all charged for the murders of Nikola Mamarov and Mr. Ludowski, who was another gentleman that I couldn't find in this story except for right now. And the authorities then exhumed their bodies of all the victims that they knew of, and autopsies were performed at the University of Belgrade. Now, you can imagine some of these people had been dead for years. All right, so now they found evidence and they went forward and had a trial. And in June of 1929, hearings took place on the 18th and 19th of June. The trial actually continued until the 1st of July, when the results were available from the chemical tests, and this was from the samples of all the, well, they gathered examples from Baba Anujka's house, around her house, the plants that she had, all this evidence, and the wing of this house where she had her chemical laboratory. And the prosecutor and defense attorneys gave their closing arguments based on all the evidence. The prosecutor sought the death penalty for all the defendants, except for the 16-year-old granddaughter who gave that potion to the grandfather, Nikola. She was a minor and at the time of the murder, and so he just asked for a prison sentence for her. That's horrible. Okay, so Sophia and Sima Mamarov defended themselves at the trial, and they did not have an attorney, so they defended themselves. That would be something that I would not want to do, but they claimed they did not know that this magic water had poison in it, and that they claimed that they only believed it was just some type of water that had supernatural, I guess, she blessed it, right? She gave it some supernatural charge, and that the death was the result of Baba Anujka's supernatural powers. So I guess they're trying to say that she sent something that she sent something over there aside from the water. Yes, drink this water. That's not going to hurt you. And so Stana Mamarov, that was the wife of Sima Mamarov, claimed that she only wanted the magic water to heal her husband from the alcoholism, and that she was not aware that it would kill him. So during the trial, Baba Anujka constantly denied the charges, claiming that she never sold any magic water and that the whole case against her was fabricated by Milankov, who wanted to blame Baba Anujka for her own crimes. Actually, some of the other people defended themselves and claimed that they were still a child at the time of the murders. And this 16-year-old granddaughter said she wasn't aware that the water would kill her grandfather. But Sophia testified that the 16-year-old was well aware of the whole plot. There was a doctor involved who actually testified against these people that there were traces of arsenic found in the bodies of both victims. The verdict was delivered on 6th of July, 1929, where Baba Anujka was sentenced to 15 years in prison for the role of the accomplice of both murders. Stanya and Sofia Mamarov was sentenced to life in prison as the main perpetrators, and Sima Mamarov was sentenced to 15 years. And Lubinya Milenkov, now that remember that was her sales agent, was sentenced to 8 years. Some of these other people were acquitted. And the granddaughter, it looks like, was also acquitted. Now they appealed. Now the prosecutor and the defendants appealed to the verdict of the appellate court and said now that the trial took place on the 29th and 30th of November of 1929. The prosecutor, imagine this, demanded capital punishment for all the defendants. He wanted that death penalty, and he wasn't going to give up on it. After some cross-examination, Sima and Sofia Mamarov admitted that they knew that the poison from the start, but all the defendants stood by their previous statements otherwise and said they didn't have a clue. Okay. The verdict was delivered on the 30th of November in 1929, and Baba Anujka was resentenced to 15 years in prison, hard labor. Now, she was what, 91 at that time? How are you going to get in hard labor out of this older lady? But I suppose, right? I mean, look what she did. 150 people? Yikes. Well, so, I just have to sit here and think about it, don't you? I mean, this to me is just a bizarre case anyway, all right? And we'll get that out in a minute. But Stanya and Sofia Mamarov were resentenced to life in prison, and Sima Mamarov's sentence was increased from 15 years to life. Sometimes it's better just stop and walk away, do the time for the crime, and forget about it, right? They made things worse for themselves. Lubinya Milenkov's sentence was increased from 8 to 10 years, and actually 2 others were acquitted again. Baba Anujka was now she had spent some years in prison, hard labor. She was released at the age of 98 because actually they really thought she was going to die in prison. She didn't. She was released at the age of 98 after 8 years in prison due to the old age law, I guess at that time in Serbia. She died 2 years later in her house in Vladimirovac at the age of 100 years old. So to this date, this makes her the oldest, I guess, serial killer in the world. The story of Baba Anujka, the oldest. They called her a witch at the time. I mean, why not, right? I mean, this just is bizarre. But back to the question of her 11 children. After knowing this story and knowing all about this is the mystery, in the mystery manner to me. Why did her 11 children, no, 10 children, pass away and did not make that to adulthood? And what happened to the child that made it to adulthood? That child is never mentioned. No one really knows where this woman, where the family came from. The background is still extremely scarce, sketchy, and unreliable about her Baba Anujka's early life. But, you have to wonder, was there mental illness right from the start? Or was it after she met this 20-year-old military officer that broke her heart, and she just flipped. The switch just flipped. Sadly, too bad. Too bad. So there's the story of the Witch of Banat, or the Witch of Vladimirovac in Serbia, which was Yugoslavia at that time, now modern Serbia. I don't know, what do you think? What do you think of this story? It just kind of gives me the creeps a little bit, because you think even back then, this woman, she set out to hurt these people and has a sales agent go out and find this. So it looks to me that there was a problem not trusting men after that military officer broke her heart, and that happens, right? So just don't let that happen. Don't let that happen. That's just sad. So from then on, she went and did this to other men and has a sales agent, and then expects not to have any type of repercussion or ramification. Amazing. I would kind of like to know what hard labor she was doing at the ripe old age of 91 to 98 for 8 years, or 90 to whatever, 90 to 98 for 8 years. My goodness. That's an amazing story to me, and I thought I would bring it to you. It's not really scary, it's just kind of different. And that's what I want to bring these different mystery stories. What makes these people tick? What happened to her? But I thought it was very interesting, and I wanted to bring it to you. And now I would like to invite you over to my Facebook page, and that is the House of Psychic Zelda. And there we talk about stories like this. We talk about the paranormal, we talk about ghost stories, we talk about oddities in the world. Sometimes an alien or two might even pop up, you never know. But we would love to have you stop by, join. And not only that, the real exciting and fun part is that Psychic Secrets gives us specials during the week. So if you want to call in and talk to me, I'm extension 11, or we have other advisors that can really help you too. And this really helps out in case you have an urgent need and you want to talk about things. We're there for you. That's what it's all about. So stop on over to House of Psychic Zelda on Facebook and take advantage of those specials that we have coming through for Psychic Secrets. But in the meantime, I would love to hear what you have to say about this particular story. And I want to thank you so much for dropping by, and I wish you wellness, I wish you blessedness, and I wish you a brave heart. And you be well, and I'll talk to you very, very soon. And take care, all right? And don't be drinking any magic water out there. Bye for now. Until next time, thanks so much for listening. I just love this, don't you?